What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to Chat with Charlie. I'm your host, Charlie. Thank you so much for joining me. You clicked on this video because you saw the title, What to Do When Bae is Mad at You. I have been married for 10 years and I know what it's like when your spouse is upset at you. And so I'm going to go off of my 5 things to do. This is from my Instagram account. If you are not following me on Instagram, you are missing out because I share a lot of content there. That is a platform that I'm most active on, and so please do follow me on Instagram. So I posted this, help, my spouse is mad at me, what do I do? This is the Chat with Charlie version, exclusive, only heard here. Number 1, don't apologize if you don't mean it. Fake apologies don't solve real problems. This is my advice. Personally, I do not think if you don't feel like you are wrong that you should apologize. I think oftentimes, and I think this has happened in my marriage as well, we're apologizing for things because we just want the conflict to go away. We just want to be back on good terms with our spouse. We want to move on, and that is why we are apologizing. So if your spouse is mad at you, please do not do this. It is much better for you to get clarity on what the problem is than for you to give a fake, phony apology just for the sake of y'all going back to normal, for y'all not disrupting the sex, for y'all just being able to carry on, okay? That's what a lot of us do, and I don't recommend that you do that because fake apologies do not solve real problems. Number 2, I suggest wait for the right time and ask questions to better understand what they are upset about. Again, if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, ask some questions. Wait until you're calm. Wait until they're calm. I did another video on how to communicate with black men, and I talked a lot about remaining calm, showing respect. For me personally, because of my personality, I can't have conversations a lot of time in the moment when something has happened if I'm very upset. Now, I've gotten a lot better because I've been married for 10 years. So in the beginning, I had to take a little bit more time than I do now. I know my husband more. He knows me more. And so I'm able to talk about things a little bit faster than I used to. But there are some things that happen that I'm upset about, and I really do have to take time. So if that's the case for you, or if your spouse is like that, give them a little bit of time, okay? If they're upset at you, they may need a minute, okay? That may be a couple hours, that may be the next day, hopefully not too long, but give them some time and then sit down with them and say, hey, I want to ask you a couple questions so that I can really understand why you're upset, because I didn't get it. I know this and that happened, but I really need you to help me here because I'm lost, okay? Number 3, guys, listen and then put yourself in your spouse's shoes. Ask yourself how you would feel. Again, the goal, I don't think, is to hurry the process. The goal is to understand each other. So if you're really trying to understand why your spouse is upset at you, don't try and hurry up. Take the time to listen and understand what they're saying, okay? And then put yourself in their shoes. There are times when I've had conversations with my husband about something that happened, and I would say, honey, and I would like reverse the situation. And I would say, what if there was a time where you this and this and this and that, and then this happened? And oftentimes when I say it that way to him, he'll say, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do. I don't think that I would like that, or I don't think that that would be cool, this and this and that. I think sometimes when we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, it does make it easier for us to understand what they're going through, why they feel the way that they feel. So take a minute to listen and understand what they're saying. And also, another really important point, guys, is to ask questions. I talk about this a lot. I say this a lot because it is important. You want to be asking your spouse questions so that you can be sure that you're understanding what they're saying. Oftentimes, marriage counselors will tell you to repeat back to them what you think they're saying. So for instance, if my husband and I are in a disagreement and he's upset at me, I may say, when he's telling me what's wrong, I may say, so honey, are you saying that you didn't appreciate when I took your food out of the microwave before it was ready, and then I put my food in there, and next time what you want me to do is ask you if your food is done? You see what I'm saying? You repeat back so that you can be sure that what you're receiving is actually what they meant to say, right? Number 4, be authentic but respectful and share how you feel. Again, if you're the spouse who is trying to seek forgiveness, your spouse is mad at you, a lot of times we're rushing the process. And what we're not doing is sharing how we feel. You need to get out how you feel as well, because you may still be confused. You may not actually think you did anything wrong or whatever. Or you may think that your spouse is being unreasonable, whatever the situation. You are equal part in this thing, and you need to share with them how you feel. Personally, even if I am mad at my husband, I like to understand where he's coming from. And so I think it's crucially important, even for the person who did wrong, for them to share how they feel. Why do I think this is important? Well, because I want to make sure that this is not a behavior that's going to continue. And if the person who did something wrong doesn't share how they feel, how do I know that this is not something that's going to just continue in the relationship? You see what I'm saying? I need to understand why they did what they did. It's not just about, you did this wrong, stop doing it. Well, why did you do that? Why did you think it was okay to do that? Why did you think it was okay to say that? There was something happening that made you feel like this, terrible thing that you did was okay to do, right? So we need to kind of understand it and unpack that a little bit so that we can maybe identify some areas where there was some confusion, right? So I really do think that it's important for everyone to share how they feel, not just the person who was offended, right? And then lastly, continue talking until you both feel heard and like you can move forward with mutual respect. Again, this is just spilling into from the fourth point. Both of you need to feel like you're heard. If you are moving on too quickly, I don't think that you're going to necessarily have success with that issue in your marriage. And a lot of what we deal with in marriages too, especially once you get longer in the relationship, are repeated offenses. I know that in my 10 years of marriage, there are just certain topics that it feels like my husband and I just keep coming back to. We keep coming back to. We're working. There's a lot of other stuff that we work through. We understand each other. We got it. We're good. But then there's just like these 3 or 4 topics where we just have to keep coming back to the conversation because things just, I don't know, we're just different, And so I would say make sure that you're at a point where you guys feel comfortable moving forward and like you both have been heard and respected. Now, very important, I have a blog post that I did on when you and your spouse just, like I said, keep having the same conversation in your marriage. This is why a lot of divorces end because of irreconcilable differences. It's something that you and your spouse just cannot come to agreement on. And these things happen. I really want you to understand that when you have been married for a period of time, it's not that you're going to agree on everything. And I need to do a video about this, but what to do when you and your spouse just don't agree. You're not. Like, that's just the reality. And so many of us, because we have not seen healthy marriage on display, we don't really understand that. And I'm here to tell you, as someone 10 years in, you're not always going to agree. There are going to be issues in your marriage sometime that take time, and it could take years for you to really understand, because marriage is a big accountability party. It's like it puts those inner things that you're dealing with on display. There's always going to be someone there looking at your weaknesses. There's always going to be someone there pinpointing something that you did wrong. And so it's really forcing a lot of these issues, unresolved stuff from your past and from your childhood. All of that stuff is going to be coming out, and it's not always just a quick fix. So what to do when bae is mad at you? Listen, sometimes it's going to take some time. Sometimes it's going to take a few conversations. And I would rather couples go through that than to continue to have these fake apologies and to continue to move on in this marriage and the situation isn't resolved. From my perspective, from Charli's point of view, it's better to be in the mud and in the dirt and to be real and to grapple with these things and to leave the conversation pending and then pick up a couple days later and still be grappling struggling with it than to move on in your marriage in a fake, phony way just so that you can have an appearance of things being okay. I think it's better to leave it at, this is unresolved. We don't know where this is going. I don't agree with where you're coming from. You don't agree with where I'm coming from. But we are agreeing to respect each other. And so, guys, there is so much that I could say. I really encourage you to follow me on Instagram because I talk a lot about just characteristics that you want to look for in someone. This is why I talk about those things, okay? And this is why I talk about characteristics, because marriage is going to be difficult regardless. But this is the reason why you want to go through it with someone who is a quality person, right? Because when you get to these snags, to these points where you really don't know what to do, you want to know that you're with someone that's still going to respect you even if they disagree with you. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to be easy, but you want to pick somebody that has the quality. Like, if you know that the flight is going to be turbulent, then you better pick the best pilot that you can be with, right? That's how it is in marriage. If you know that there's going to be ups and downs, pick somebody that's quality, okay, so that when you get to these points where bae is mad at you, they know how to handle themselves when they're mad at you. So I really do encourage you to watch my video, 4 characteristics to look for in a partner. Listen, it's real. It's real, but we want to pick quality people, and even more importantly, we want to be quality people. We want to be quality spouses. We want to be growing and flourishing and maturing in our marriage. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be, but you can have success if you're focused on being an emotionally mature person. If when the challenges come, you know how to handle those things. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. What to do when bae is upset. Guys, I have so much more content to come, so much more that I have to get out, but it takes time. I'm a wife. We have 2 children, and we're running businesses. It's a lot going on, but I really find life in these YouTube videos. I get excited. I'm so happy to see that people are rocking with me. People are just excited about the content just like I am, and you're learning and you're growing, and that's why I started Chat with Charli. So please remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can know, hit notifications so that when I put out new videos, you'll know. Visit my website. Please visit my website, www.chatwithcharli. Remember, Charli does not have an E at the end.com. And follow me on Instagram. There's so much more to come. Welcome to the family. I'm so excited, and I will be talking to you real soon. Bye.